Do you take a low-dose aspirin every day to try to prevent heart attacks and strokes? It's been a popular trend since the 1980s. But this morning we're learning it could be dangerous. Our Pete Servakis gives you a little aspirin education this morning and the impact it could have on you. Good morning, Pete.
Well, Susan, according to a National Health Interview survey, as many as 29 million people spend a lot of money every year to pop that daily aspirin pill. But new guidelines say they should not be. While it's never been marketed as a cure-all, aspirin has long been considered helpful in preventing heart attacks.
All of a sudden it became very ingrained in our culture, but we really didn't have a lot of scientific evidence behind what we were doing.
But new guidelines from the American College of Cardiology now recommend low-dose aspirin only for select adults 40 to 70 who are at a higher risk of heart disease, but not at increased bleeding risk. Why? Because aspirin prevents your blood clotting cells from sticking together. While that can help prevent heart disease, it also puts you at risk of bleeding, especially if you're over 70 and more susceptible to falls.
If your blood is thinner, then anytime you bleed, you're going to bleed more. And if you're bleeding more, that translates with a higher likelihood of dying.
In people under 40, clinical trials found there's not enough evidence to show aspirin definitely prevents heart disease. Although Dr. Nicole Lohr reiterates people in the 40 to 70 window and even over 70 who've had heart problems or are at an increased risk of them should still consult with a doctor about taking aspirin regularly.
It becomes a conversation. Is the risk of having a heart attack or a stroke greater or less than your risk of bleeding?
Oh, that's interesting information. Are there things people can do to try to protect their heart and keep it in check?
There are, for sure, Susan. Two obvious ones, right, that we hear all the time: eat better and exercise. Those are always helpful.
Those are hard.
Yeah, hard, right? In the meantime, some major risk factors that doctors always say you want to avoid: smoking, stress. Those are more things you can yourself take control of. Also, high blood pressure and high cholesterol. Of course, diet plays into that too, right? If you eat better, usually you have lower cholesterol, lower blood pressure.
Yeah, just be good to yourself, right?
Absolutely.
Thanks.